Hi, for anyone that doesn't know me, my name's Nuala. I'm going to speak about the main focus of tonight is going to be how we can make a better society for the LGBT community in Scotland and the work I've done closely with young people and their interest in politics in Dunoon locally. So my own personal journey is I came out when I was 19, so that was last February. It took me about 2.5 years to actually come out, just because I didn't have the language. I didn't feel like I wouldn't be accepted. It was just, there was no language to help me. There was nowhere I could go and speak to like-minded people, and I just felt isolated. But when I did finally come out, it was just like this relief that I felt, and I just want to make sure there's a society that's accepting for all people, that they feel like they don't even need to come out in the future. It's just that's who they are. So although Scotland, we are a very open and accepting country, and I'm really proud of that, but also there is still a long way for us all to go. To move forward to make a more accepting society for the LGBT community, I think we need to make sure that this horrible language that has been normalised is cut out. So things like, I sit in my college class and they use these degrading phrases, but it's covered as banter when it is not, and it makes everyone uncomfortable. And with language like that, it's been normalised. Even you've got Trump also using language like that, and people are seeing these people in high positions, and they think, oh, it's just normal to say these sort of things. So then that needs to be cut out completely in order for our society to move forward. We also need to make sure that it's not a hard thing for people to do to come out, that they feel that they will be accepted straight away, because it doesn't make you any different. You're the same person that you were. So another thing is attitudes. So people like Trump we need to get rid of, because how can we move forward as a society when there's people like that in office and they're just using these degraded phrases and not standing up for people? And an encounter I had recently was with Liam Fox. I went up to him and asked why he voted against marriage equality. His response, which was just shocking, was, oh, I didn't think it was necessary because civil partnerships are here and people that are already married will think all the legal stuff changes for them. So I asked him, I told him that's a ridiculous argument. It makes no sense. We should all have the same right to marry whoever we want to marry. And he said, well, that's where we disagree, and he ran off and didn't look back. Thanks. So when you have narrow-minded politicians like that who can't even say why they did something, it just shows that we need to get rid of them in order to move forward and make this society more accepting and build a better Scotland. Also, well, another thing about that is when you hear these phrases and stuff, kids in schools think it's acceptable, and that's what will result in bullying, and that needs to stop in order to move forward, because 90% of LGBT kids in school have experienced bullying. As a result of that, 27 have attempted to commit suicide, and 15% have attempted it more than once. And in this day and age, I think that's just absolutely shocking to hear those figures. And as a society, we should all be helping, standing up for these kids, so that does not happen and they just feel like they can be their true selves and be accepted for who they are. So a way to do that is we need to go into schools and educate these kids from a young age so they know that that language is not acceptable, and they can become more compassionate human beings, and they can take those discussions into their households and then speak to their parents and get a whole conversation going and just become more accepting people. I'm really proud in Scotland with the stuff we've done. We've been the first country in the UK to legalise same-sex marriage. We've given automatic pardons to gay men who are criminalised for being who they are. We've funded organisations and worked closely with the Thai campaign to tackle bullying within schools. We've have a consultation on the gender recognition law, which I think is brilliant. Also, our First Minister was the first ever First Minister or Prime Minister in the UK to speak at a Pride event, and I was very lucky to witness that speech, and it was very moving, and it was a very passionate speech, and it meant a lot to everyone in Glasgow Green that day. It got quite emotional for some people as well. So that was just brilliant to see that happening. So to move forward is definitely engage your young people within political discussions. A recent survey I did for local people, local kids in Dunoon that are eligible to vote, with 53% of young people saying that they take a really keen interest in politics and they keep themselves up to date. They daily look at what's happening in both parliaments. I also got another result. It was over 70% want to see another referendum very soon, which I think is very, very good to hear. So we know that those kids that are wanting to vote want to see our society move forward, get away from a horrible government down in Westminster that's doing no good for anyone, get rid of ties with Trump, just get rid of that and become a more positive society to live in. So with a more positive and equal society, we need to make sure we're not continuously putting people in boxes, sort of, you're over there, someone else deal with you. We need to just treat everyone as equal. And we need to stop making who somebody is and political policy. So as me as a gay woman, I don't want that to be someone's political policy. Like, they shouldn't make it. It should just be treat everyone as equal and make sure you're standing up for everyone, regardless if you are not like anyway connected. We're all together as one society and just working together. One thing I would like to see in like especially small towns is lots of LGBT groups forming. We're lucky enough that Ailey's done marvellous work in getting one sorted for Argyll and Butte, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. It just gives people a place to go and know that society will accept them for who they are. Thank you for listening, and I hope that was all right.